I'm standing on a wash parallel to Kyle Canyon Road in the Spring Mountains. We're at about the 5,000 feet above sea level, and today I want to show you three major things. One, the thing we're looking at, which is the Bird Spring Formation. This formation is about 300 million years old, plus or minus here, depending on which part of the section you're in and how it's mapped. The oldest sections are about 359 million years old. The youngest sections are mapped at about 252 million years old. So let's put us somewhere in the middle. I'm actually not quite sure how old these specific rocks are, but let's say about 300 million years plus or minus. Here, it's mostly limestone. In some sections, it looks a little bit sandy, a little bit silty, but it's basically limestone here. You can really see by the blockiness of the layering and the jointing, they look like bricks. That's pretty indicative of limestone. And so we're going to be looking mostly at limestone today. That's number one, the Bird Spring Formation. Number two, I want to show you this massive alluvial deposit that cut through a channel in the Bird Spring Formation. This alluvial deposit is mapped as young as 2.5, or as old rather, as 2.5 million years, but could be much younger. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. And then finally, I want to show you some very recent deposits from flash flooding and other rainfall events that, channelize the water through this wash. So right now you're looking up the wash. We're going to actually walk down the wash throughout the rest of this video. And there's some cool imbrication, there's some cool stratification, and some layering. And so, yeah, we're going to look at those things. So we're just going to walk down section, but first I wanted to show you here, it's a little hard to see, but all this white stuff here, we're in the wash, like I said. This is the Bird Spring Formation, and water is flowing towards the camera when it flash floods through here. And we've actually had a couple flash flooding events in the last few years. The main one was when Tropical Storm Hillary came through, and this whole area, the Spring Mountains, just got walloped up to 8 inches in some locations. And so imagine a flash flood. I'm going to show you some deposits that are possibly from that event or possibly from older events. I don't know, but they're just pebbles and other sediments just cemented onto the side of this Bird Spring limestone. But here, this white stuff is actually super smooth. It looks like a chute. It looks like it's been eroded with water, and it's super smooth. I can't get there because there's this absolute massive amount of tumbleweeds. Just this pile of tumbleweeds. I'm gonna guess upwards of like 70 tumbleweeds just in this in this wash here that have accumulated. So we're not going to go over there. We're going to walk now down the wash here. So I'm facing generally east-northeast, walking down the wash parallel to Kyle Canyon Road. There's my vehicle up there. So let's walk down. So we're standing on the limestone. We're going to get down, and I want to show you the landslide deposit. Oh, here we go. I'm going to do a jump. Landslide deposit that's kind of cuts through probably an old channel. And I'm calling it a landslide deposit, but really it could be colluvial, it could be alluvial. So I might, interchangeably say alluvial deposit, colluvial, or landslide deposit, but truthfully I don't know. All I know is the sediment that's left behind is super cemented, and it would be classified, if we called it a rock, as a breccia. Okay, so I got a hummingbird here on these cool plants. There's a lot of plants blooming right now. This hummingbird is fearless. Yeah, look at you. I'm trying to get it into the sky. Oh, there you go. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna do a lot of those because there's some cool flowers I want to show, and I have some botanist friends, like these little guys here. These are little yellow flowers. Here's my finger for scale. Very small, very cute. But yeah, coming out of the cracks of the Bird Spring Formation, the limestone here. We got some Joshua trees up top there. All right, let's keep walking. I get distracted very easily. I'm going to put a description of the Bird Spring Formation below, in the video below. Okay, flowers again. But the limestone itself does have a lot of fossils. I am not a paleontologist, but I'm going to guess some of this texture and remineralization here, probably into calcite, because of course there's a lot of calcium carbonate here. Probably has to do with fossils. This is not my thing. I don't really know, but look at this. You've got this cemented sediment into the limestone here, and some of these faces, like I can knock a little bit off here, so it's not well cemented, but it's there. And this is probably deposits from more recent flooding events. Like these pebbles in this crack right there. And you see that all over the place here. And the composition of these pebbles, the sediment here, is not all just limestone. You can see there's some calcium carbonate. There's probably some, well, it's probably mostly calcium magnesium carbonate stuff, because upslope here it's just mostly limestone and dolomite. But there probably is some quartz in here. There is some sandstone. There's some shale and siltstone in this formation as well. Anyway, flowers again. I'm in hand for scale. These are huge. They're blooming now. They're all over the road. Some more tumbleweeds, but let's keep walking. The point here is the bird spring formation, I swear. And the landslide deposit, or the alluvial fan deposit, the alluvium deposit, that you're gonna see coming into view right here. It's absolutely huge. That's probably 60 feet tall, 50 or 60 feet tall. And so here in the foreground, you got some limestone. This entire wedge right here is an alluvial or colluvial deposit, or series of deposits, probably, because when we get closer, you can actually see there's some layering to it that cuts through probably an old channel in the bird spring formation that kind of heads towards the road here down into the swash, and it's just accumulated. So this thing right here that you're seeing, this big wedge, so you can see limestone down here, you can actually see there's limestone down here. We'll walk to the base of this thing, but this right here, this wedge right there, is all sediment deposited upwards of possibly 2.5 million years ago. So let's walk to it. Pretty cool. So there's our 300 million year old, you know, plus or minus 50 million limestone. And right here, resting on top, cutting through it, probably an old channel, because we know water likes to flow through channelized areas. We've got this, what we classify now as a breccia, super angular, very poorly sorted deposit. And I'll take a step back, but I want to kind of get in here first to show you just how angular, I'll put my hand for scale, these pieces are. They're all over the place in size. They're very cemented. I cannot, I took a little piece off, but that is in there. Now that's not a test to determine whether this is alluvium still. It's mapped as that, or it's breccia, but eventually this has to be remapped as breccia, right? I don't know if you heard that because I was facing away from the camera, but this has to be remapped as breccia. But if I go up, there you go, that's probably as much as you can see there, about 50 feet tall of just this wedge. And you can see here's the shape of it. There's the limestone, it gets cut off. So here's all of the accumulation. And then over here, there's a stark break right there of where the limestone stops and the alluvium colluvium begins. And so we're talking, and it might be hard to see, but we're talking years upon years. You know, I don't even know how long this would take to form, of a channelized alluvial flow coming basically towards the camera, towards us right here. Just filling up, and it's hard to see because I'm zoomed out so much, but there is layering here. You can probably see from the colors, but also there are layers of very gravelly, pebbly stuff. So if I were to point here, right about there, super gravelly and pebbly, it gets smaller, there's more sand, it gets lighter, that's more cemented now, but it's gravelly again, it gets smaller again. So there is layering in here. Okay. And you can see down, once again, I'll zoom in or walk towards it. My zooming in is walking towards it. These are just absolutely huge pieces. Okay, so pretty cool, very easily spotted from the road. And yeah, just absolutely huge. So I want to kind of take a shot from the other side and show you that. There you go. So there's your alluvium colluvium deposit, much younger through the bird spring formation. And as we continue this way down the wash, we'll get back to our bird spring formation. And finally, there's this cool imbrication for more recent deposits, but we'll get to that in a second. I want to show you some cool textures in this limestone that are probably due to fossils and remineralization. But again, I'm not a paleontologist, so I don't really know. Okay, it's pretty hummocky, this texture through here. And you can see that there's all sorts of colors. There's all this remineralization. So here's one right here. Was this a fossil before? Here's another one in the shadow there. It might be a little hard to see. Oh, here's one right there. Okay, you can see all of these little shapes in here in this limestone. Probably like this stuff. Probably fossils from long, long ago, marine fossils. Okay. So I'll show you the limestone as we walk down. Oh, actually, here's another spot with a lot of these little probably fossils. And in fact, you see this layer right here that continues through. It's all like hummocky. It's a different color from the stuff around it. It's got this texture in it. Below here, you've got these mineralizations that probably are due to fossils, marine fossils, of course, in a limestone like this. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I just don't have the background in paleontology to really tell you exactly what's happening here. My background is actually in geophysics, focusing on remote sensing and natural hazards like landslides, hence the colluvial deposit, or the alluvial deposit that I'm calling colluvial. Okay. So here we go. We're back now to very young stuff, very recent. This is going to be just deposits from more recent flash flooding events. And the flash flooding, don't think it has to be like necessarily, 20 feet high. These are just, this is a wash and it fills with water, deposit sediment. And you can see right here, here's a good spot of different layers where you have very pebbly stuff here. You've got very sandy, silty, clay, super layered, very small layers. Each one of these layers is maybe a couple millimeters thick. Here's the package. Okay, so just imagine like a little bit of water coming down and depositing these over the years, and then it's pebbles of gravel again. Okay. In fact, there might even be an old soil horizon right here, a paleosol running through here. This looks pretty dark. Could be an old A horizon. That's bonus for you soil folks. And finally, I swear, again, here's more recent deposits from last who knows how many years. Could be tens, hundreds, maybe thousands. But if you look closely, what you notice with these pebbles here is there's imbrication. Okay, so the flow of the water is going to be, of course, from upslope to downslope, which in this direction that we're facing will be from left. Sorry, my thumb is very close. From left to right, this way. And if you look closely, you can see that all of these pebbles here are actually slightly leaning, dipping, if you will, towards the upslope. Okay, so a lot of these pebbles are actually, they have a long axis. They're elongated like this one, like this one, like that one, etc. And so as they deposit down and as they're tumbling down with the water, they will land and rest like this on top of the pebbles that were there before. And so if I kind of zoom in a little closer here, you can really see like this pebble. Imagine this pebble is like a domino, just kind of coming down and resting bloop on top of the stuff that was there before. And so you see that over and over, and this is called imbrication. And so the direction of dip is upflow, meaning this pebble right here is dipping towards the left, so the water came from the left. And you can see all of these pebbles that are elongated, at least, have a general dip upslope or to the left. So pretty cool. So yeah, all of this at one little stop. Okay. And I'll leave you with a shot up the wash. Again, there's our alluvial colluvial deposit. We got the Bird Spring Formation, which is 300 million years old. Description of that a full description in the video description. Description of the formation in the video description below. So you can find that. All right, thanks. And I'll see you in the next one.